Hey everyone, Squatch'ya Doin, Angie here. Hey, it's been since yesterday that I was here. Remember, we're doing the apple experiment, and I've been coming back every day to see how long it takes for the apples to get taken away, or if they were going to get taken away. Now, remember yesterday, we didn't have any action at all. So I put another apple up. No, I take that back. The apple was up the other day. Now I'm getting myself confused. I don't know when I put that apple up. I think that apple was up the day before. I put that apple up on Saturday. Today is Tuesday. And I came back up, and guess what? We have action. Action. But from what? Let's go investigate. All right, that is what I walked up to. Something definitely finally opened it. We definitely see an apple on the ground. We see a wrapper on the ground. The lid and the container are obviously separated, so somebody finally figured out how to get into it. Now, who that somebody is, I don't know. Hopefully by us going and taking a closer look, we'll be able to figure that out. Let's go take a look here. Now remember, we had 3 apples and a piece of chocolate wrapped up in that heart wrapper. As you can see, there's the Gala apple, there's the Granny Smith, but the Red Delicious is 100% gone. 100% gone. And looking around here, there's no apple core or anything anywhere. So that was gone. Interesting that it took one. It took the Red Delicious, but it left the other 2. Very interesting. Why were those not taken? So interesting. And the chocolate bar definitely got enjoyed. But what enjoyed it, we don't know. Now the container itself does not appear to be bent or misshapen, like I would kind of think maybe from a bear. If a bear was putting its full weight onto it trying to get it open, I would suspect that it would be smashed up a little bit. What do you think? Do you think a bear would smash it up or bend it in any way trying to get into it? Answer down below. Alrighty, so now that we got the overview of what happened, let's kind of slide in a little bit closer and take a look. So here's the lid, and there is a little tiny paw print right there. Now, I don't think that is the cause of what took the lid off. I think that might have happened after the lid was off. Like some other creature came walking by and stepped. Let's take a look here. There could be swipe marks, like finger marks, but nothing really definitive. I go in too far, it gets blurry. I don't know. All I know is it's not bent up. Now, it wasn't placed back on, but it's not bent up either. Let's take a look at this apple situation going on here. Now, there could be a footprint right here. I know you guys cannot see it. It's not very deep. There's like what appears to be a narrow heel here. But I know it's not filming, but I can barely see it with my naked eyes. All right, let's look over at this apple. Obviously, the chocolate wrapper got destroyed. This apple hasn't even been messed with. Not a bite, not a peck, not a nothing. But the chocolate bar wrapper, it has seen better days. So something really enjoyed that, which I'm glad. Now let's go inside the container and see what we can figure out. Looking at the apple, same thing, not even touched. Not even touched. So we'll go over that here in a minute. All right, let's take a closer look at the bucket itself. There are, and I don't know if this is going to be able to be seen, there is marks inside the bucket. But they look like that little, there they are, but I don't know if it's going to video well. They look like the same little markings that was on the lid. So once again, I think that happened after the bucket was moved and opened. I don't think those little tiny marks are a result of what took the lid off. I think that happened after. All right, y'all, why do you think 2 apples were left and only the Red Delicious was taken? That's highly unusual. That kind of shows me that something has preferential tastes. You know, it just seems like an omnivore, like a bear, stuff like that, would just devour those apples and they wouldn't care, like they did the Red Delicious and the little chocolate bar. But like a bear would have eaten everything. So what got into this that was being picky and choosy of what they were eating? I can only think of about 2 things. People like you and me, and then the Sasquatch people. That's my take on it. You might have a different take on it. I just can't rationalize what got that lid off without bending or disforming it like a bear, putting its weight on it, muscling it off of there and stuff. Something took it off gingerly enough where it didn't misshape it, and then it only ate one thing. It ate 2 things and left the other 2. Like I said, a regular animal, in my opinion, would have just devoured everything. So it's very weird. What do you think? I think the big guy finally got into it. I think he finally figured out how to open it. That's really cool. Now let's go take a look at the apple on the tree. Y'all, I'm getting super excited. Oh my gosh. They ate the apple and the chocolate. We're stoked. I'm stoked. You're stoked. We're all stoked. and a tad dumbfounded. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. And mind-blowing. All right. I digress. Let's go check out the tree with the apple. All right, so there's the tree that had the apple. Now the apple was roughly, about this branch right here, roughly. It was about 4.5 feet off the ground. And as you can see, the apple is not on the tree anymore. The branch that it was on is right here. It's not there. However, it is right there. So it was not taken away, but if you look, there is a massive part of it missing. Let's zoom in and take a better look. Now I really don't want to touch the apple because there could be DNA on it, but then again, I don't have a way to save the DNA. I don't have anything with me that I can safely get it and get the DNA. So once again, bad researcher fail. Oh, mercy. All right, let's just go in for the record to see what was done. All righty, so here it is. That's where it got stuck into the tree, and that bruise was already there. Something took a big old bite. Big old bite. But they didn't finish it. I wonder if they didn't like it. Interesting. Why do you think it didn't eat the whole apple? Why do you think it didn't even get carried away? It's like it took a bite of it and was like, blah, and just threw it down. That's kind of the visual I'm getting. What do you guys think? I guess we can just leave it here for the little woodland creatures to take it now. But what do you think? Why do you think that one was just one bite and then threw to the ground? This is awesome. Awesome, awesome. Oh boy, we had a lot of action and I'm still trying to process it. I'm sure there's probably things I'll think of later to comment on or to ask questions about, but I'm a little scattered right now. I ain't gonna lie. After trying for a week to get them to get to the apples, they finally did. And then not in the way that I thought they would. Is it in the way that you thought they would? Clearly, it had to be something with dexterity, with hands, with fingers, to get that lid off that container without demolishing the container, that tin. You know, it's like a popcorn tin. We all know what those are like. It took it off gently enough where it didn't bend it, misshape it. But then they only ate the chocolate and the red delicious apple. They didn't eat the very sour Granny Smith apple, the green apple. And they didn't eat the highly sweet Honeycrisp apple, which is like not an HMO, a GMO. It's been a modified apple. Maybe it's why they didn't touch it. Maybe it's why they went for the red delicious, because, you know, we all grew up with those. Though now they're probably a little bit modified now, but back in the day they weren't. So I'm wondering, maybe the Sasquatch knows healthy foods versus unhealthy? I don't know. I'm just trying to think, why only the red delicious? And then with the apple on the tree, one bite. And because those were kind of like gala apples. So I had 3 different types of apples out here, and only one type got eaten. Like I said, the gala apple, one bite and thrown to the ground. And then I've heard reports of when Sasquatch takes food that is inside of a container, how they would like open it really gently and get out the food item and just leave the wrapper all intact. This wrapper is not all intact. It is shredded. So it goes against reports that other people have said. And I'm trying to wrap my head around that. I don't know why. Unless the Sasquatch was like, dang, chocolate, I must have it now, type of thing. It wasn't being gentle with that wrapper, which is unusual because a lot of things they've been doing here and a lot of things that I hear other researchers report on is that they're very delicate a lot of times in stuff like this. Now, obviously they're not delicate when they're throwing rocks at us, even though they sort of are, because they're not hitting us with them. They get close enough, but they don't hit us with it. So it takes some finesse. But, you know, when they're knocking down trees and doing all that, okay, yeah, there's no finesse there, really. Brute strength. But, you know, you hear about peanut butter jars and them opening up the peanut butter jars and taking out, you know, some scoops and then putting the lid back on and screwing it on and putting it back down. You hear about, there was a video on Jason Kinsey when he put out some donuts in one of those hard plastic containers that you can see through that are extremely noisy. In his experiment with the donuts, it was opened, like one donut was taken and then the lid was put down. That is not what we experienced here. So I'm trying to wrap my head around what we experienced here. You know, maybe I'll shoot a follow-up video when I had time to like think about it and maybe come up with some aha moments. But right now I'm kind of stumped. I'm super excited. We finally got action with the food. But like I said, it's just not how I thought it would be. And that's kind of the kicker. But I love the fact that they finally figured out how to open it. Because I was getting worried. I was like, maybe they don't know how. Maybe they've never seen something like this before. You know, so I was really worried that nothing would happen. And when I was out here yesterday, I didn't film this part, but I was speaking out to their general direction and saying, you know, you have to take off the lid. And I think maybe that helped, because today when I came out, the lid was off. So it also means, once again, they understand our language. And once again, they kind of followed directions. When I was telling to them, you have to take this little silver part and pull it up. And then the next day I come out here and it's done. It's done. Which is something else I'm trying to wrap my head around. You know, between the whole, you know, having to hide. And then I came out here the next time and they built a blind for me to hide behind. To other flippant comments I've made out here that they did. And like I said, that blind was a flippant comment. Explaining to them how to take the lid off after a week, and then the very next day the lid is off. You know, and there's been a couple of those. And so I fully believe they understand our language. They fully understand it. And for me, it's not an animal. It's not an ape. It's not a gorilla. Sorry. I feel with the experiments that I've been doing that it just cements it. If I walked up to a gorilla in the zoo or even over in Africa and be like, man, there's so many people coming around, I need a place to hide. Do you think those gorillas are going to make me a blind? I don't think so. And so it just kind of cements the idea that it understands the English language. What understands the English language besides human beings? Now, it's a different type of human. It doesn't look like us. It's hairy, but it walks on two legs. It almost looks like us, except for maybe the size and the girth. And y'all, I am convinced they are just a different type of human being. Just a different type. They don't look like you and me. They don't act like you and me. They're not socialized like we're socialized. They're their own people. They're their own people who prefer to live away from us, which can you blame them? And they may not look exactly like us, but they're people. They're people. I'm convinced. Now, if you're not convinced, that's fine. That's your prerogative. I'm saying I'm convinced. Unless something else sways me another direction, with all this stuff that I've been learning over the last year with them, I just don't see that it being an animal. I don't see it being a gorilla or an ape of some sort. I don't. They are too smart. Gorillas and apes are smart, but the language, they understand the language, and that right there is the sealer for me. How about you? Does it seal it for you? What do you think they are? Comment down below. I would love to know what you think they are. With everything we've been learning through all these experiments, what do you think they are? All right, I'm going to reset. I don't really know how to reset this one because the apples I brought up, they're the apples that they took a bite of and threw to the ground. So they didn't like them. So I don't know if I really want to put those out. I guess we could try it again. Let's try it again. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go do it, and then I'm going to show you. All right, I'll be back. Okay, everyone, here is the setup. We have five apples. Now, they're none of the ones that they liked. They didn't take the 2 big apples at all before. And then the 3 little ones I have in there, they're the same type of apple that they took 1 bite off of the tree and threw it to the ground. So I'm not anticipating having a lot of action here. They might open it, but who knows what they're going to do with the apples since they didn't seem to like them. But that's all I had on me. So we're just going to run it again. Next time I'll bring something different, but today it is what it is. So let's put the lid back on. And let's try again. Alrighty, so it's all set up. Now I don't think I'm gonna come back every day, but I'm going to try. I mean, it is 45 minutes one way for me to get out here. That's a lot of driving to do every day. That's almost 2 hours every day just in driving. But I will try. I can't wait to see what they do, if anything. All right, check in next time. Let's see what they do. All right, everybody, later. Bye.